This is rugby for the good of the game.
Welcome to episode 2. This is rugby. This week we get a chance to watch as Bethany sits down with the University of Louisville head coach Emil Walton. Find out what they are talking about here on this week's episode. Also, we got to join the UK team this week as they did a photo shoot for the poster for the spring schedule. We also get a chance to talk with Gary Anderson and a couple of the other players. And we'll recap the season opener as the UK women travel to Marshall. Let's see how that panned out for them right here on This is Rugby, episode 2. We're here on the soccer field with UK. It's a cold, blustery day, and we are shooting the spring schedule poster for the rugby program here. Tell me a little bit about why this is important to your program and what it's done for your program.
Well, with the social media presence that the high school kids, really take advantage of, it's important to let them see, what UK Rugby offers, some of the things we do, make sure that we're available on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just gives us a great social presence and promotes the UK Rugby brand to all the high school kids that are shopping around.
So on the collegiate level, this is very good, the social media presence. What about for the high school level and the other levels of rugby? Are they taking advantage of this kind of platform as well?
They really do. In the last handful of years, you've really seen a lot of the programs, whether they be high school, even some of the middle school programs, and of course the collegiate programs, really start to take advantage of all the things Facebook offers as far as videos, promotional aspects, programs. It's really transitioned rugby the last 5 years, really getting promotions out.
So how long have you been doing this?
This will be my 7th year coaching UK and my 2nd year as the head coach.
And so as far as these types of shoots, you've been doing this the whole time, or is this something kind of new?
We've been doing it probably 5 of the last 7 years. We've really been putting a lot more effort into the social media. Dave Redden's obviously been a big factor in helping us promote all of that, which has really led to a lot more recruits and a lot more presence for the UK Rugby program.
So you're looking forward to a good season this year, coming up on the spring season soon?
Yes, so we finished off the fall SEC champions, made a nice run at the national championship, and ambitions to win SEC sevens. Last year we came up just a little bit short, but this season I think we've really got a good shot at it.
Well, good luck. Thanks for talking with me.
Thank you.
I'm here with Dirks, and you're a freshman coming onto this team this year, and you've looked at many programs, I'm sure, through when you were making your decision to come here. Now, you came from South Africa. South Africa, okay. The thing about social media is it's a presence worldwide. Did you use videos like this as a guide when you were making your decision?
Definitely. I think I had to look at a few universities coming to the US and looking at UK and seeing they have a really good rugby team, seeing their history and what they're working for. I think Gary makes a really big impact on the people out there recruiting a bunch of freshmen, and I definitely use social media in order to make my final decision, so that's why I'm here today.
That's great. So you're coming into a really winning team right now, coming into this spring. What are you thinking?
Well, I'm looking to see what we've progressed to. I think we've had a really good season last semester. We got a few really good freshmen playing with me, so I'm looking forward to see what the 7s and the 15s next semester will hold.
Fantastic. We're looking forward to a really successful season coming up. And as a freshman, you really get to be integral in building this program even more. Any thoughts on that and how even social media can help with that and how you use these programs and the social media kind of together to work?
I think rugby is still a growing sport in the US, and coming from a country where it's one of our main sports, and I've done it since from age 6. So I would like to see the rest of the country also buying into that idea of making rugby a big sport and just seeing our program and everything progress. I think the social media will help that aspect.
Well, congratulations on your winning season so far, and good luck in the spring.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm here with Nick Lewis. You're a senior on this team. You took a big part in building this team. Tell me a little bit about how these posters and the online presence are really affecting the players that are coming in and affected you, even though you kind of came in and built this team.
Well, with social media having such a big presence nowadays, you can pretty much find any organization and team online, and I think it's really just a good way to promote it and let people know what's going on with the team, and just really draw more attention to what we have going on here, because it's been great to see everything build over the years, and it's cool that a lot of people can finally see what we've been working toward.
When you were making your decisions to where you were going to go, how you're going to play this out, did you look at these kind of things as well?
Oh yeah, most definitely. It's like I said, it's a huge thing nowadays. Everyone wants that exposure and a little bit of extra attention sometimes. So when we can do things like this and get our name out there and get our team out there, it makes all the difference.
So as a senior coming into this season, you kind of built this program, came up with the program. It's proud, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Just being able to raise that SEC championship trophy last semester, after all the things that how far we've come over the years, it was huge. It was a great feeling, and just the way that the team is progressing and getting better every year, it's just great to be a part of and see how far we've come over the years. It's just it's been a fun ride.
So thanks for talking with us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Today we welcome in Emil Walton from the University of Louisville rugby team. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Just want to start by getting to know you a little bit better, and tell us a little bit about how you first got involved with the University of Louisville, a little bit about your background.
All right. Well, born and raised in South Africa, came over here, started to do some work, and then started playing with the actual main senior side, the Louisville City side, and after my 7th retirement, I guess, I decided to just kind of hang up the boots, and then I got approached by U of L and wanted me to help them out as a coach, and I kind of just stumbled upon that job. And it was initially going to be temporary because I wasn't really 100% involved as I wanted to be, and then it got to a point where I guess they liked what I did and decided to keep me on board a little longer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I can imagine as a player, it's always hard for athletes to hang it up, and this keeps you involved on some level and keeps it exciting for you still.
Yeah, that's why I said after my 6th retirement or whatever, because every year I'll be retiring after age 30, and then I'll just get sucked back into it again. So it's good to be involved with coaching the boys instead of playing. So my body can't keep up with it anymore. So.
I can understand that. So tell me a little bit, do you see any real differences between the way the game is played here in the United States versus the way it's played in South Africa and maybe in other countries?
Yeah, I mean, the emphasis is on what we would call rugby IQ. When I started playing, I was about 5 years old. So the first part of my youth it's all about just skill development before we get into the actual playing of the game. So I think that in a sense is a huge difference. I've always said USA has the athletes to compete on the world stage, but the fact that they start so late in life and they haven't had the basic skills under the belt has kind of been I wouldn't say a setback, but it's definitely something that can elevate their game if they can get that under wraps. So there's a big difference in the sense of I would say how we play the game and our knowledge of the game compared to how Americans play the game. But like I said, from a physical standpoint, they can match it with pretty much anyone in the world. We just at a young age, we basically crawl before we even walk with the rugby ball. So.
Right. So in some ways, it's just catching them up to speed a little bit,
Yeah.
the knowledge of the game,
Yeah,
and then they can pick up, like you said, and catch up.
Yeah.
Physically, they're already there, maybe, but
Yeah.
getting them to play mentally tough and
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah, that's half the battle that I have with my boys as well. I mean, they're phenomenal athletes, but athleticism is only going to get you that far in the game, because then you got to fall back on what you know and how you play the game and the ins and outs of the game. So I guess that's one of the bigger differences, is the fact that we spend a big part of our youth just developing the actual skills and the knowledge of the game before we go into actually playing the game at a decent level.
Absolutely. So Louisville finished as high as 13th in some of the polls last year.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see them, this year, and what do you all need to do to sort of take it to the next level?
Yeah, to give us a bit of a history, I think when I started back a year and a half ago, we were at 6 players at practice. They've never been ranked at all. And everyone, whenever they look at what we've done last year, they think I've got 45, 50 guys deep. I don't. I've got about 25, 30 kids that really want to play rugby. So what we've achieved this past year is pretty phenomenal, because, like I said, we don't have all the infrastructure that most of the other bigger teams have. But this past year, being ranked number 12 for the first time ever is kind of a big achievement. We were second at the MAC, and then for the MAC 7s, we had to add Lodgeburg to go to nationals. So we've done a lot. I think this year we're aiming to do a little bit better, because initially that's what we want to do. We want to grow each year, and just to kind of show some of the other potential recruits or the fans or anyone that's didn't realize Louisville had a rugby team, that we might not be as established as most of these other programs because we're so young, but we definitely play the same level of rugby and we're definitely there to compete. So it's it's always a good feeling to know that 2-3 years ago big teams want to come play us as a confidence builder. Let's go play U of L, and we'll just have a fun little game. Now they're phoning us because they know they're going to get competition they need to perform. So in the sense of growth, we're growing pretty well, and I'm projecting us in 2018 to ruffle some more feathers and go up in the rankings.
Yeah, that's
So,
fantastic.
yeah.
I would think that it's helped also having had two of your players go to the major leagues,
Yeah.
Vatubai and Lerome White.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
both were exciting to watch, I'm sure, and maybe
Yeah.
even brought some excitement to the program. that-
Yeah, no, it was great too. It was great for them to have, to step up and go to the pros. I know Pio kind of took a different route because he's actually a league rugby player, which is a different form of, it's the same game, but it's a different style of rugby. So he grew up playing league. He went the semi-pro route. He didn't play for Jacksonville for a while, and then he went to play for the major league franchise, the Utah Warriors right now. So, and Lerome just got drafted straight out of college. So it's pretty exciting for us, and it kind of gives people the sense that if they do come to the program, that we've got that next step to get you where you need to be. So we're
Definitely.
pretty excited about that. Yeah.
So, looking forward to the spring, tell us a little bit about what your schedule is going to look like and where your emphasis is going to be on your style of play.
Well, we have two styles of play. Well, I'd say two forms of rugby is 15s and 7s in the spring. Usually in the fall we'll just concentrate on 15-man rugby, but in spring it's 7s. So what I used to do is, some colleges have a tendency of just focusing on 7s because it's majority of the spring is 7s. But what I tend to do is I schedule 15s matches as well, because I want to keep my big boys busy. I want to give them involved with the team instead of them just frizzling off, because if you just keep them playing in the fall, it's a long break between fall and fall before they start playing again. So I have a tendency of scheduling at least 4 7s tournaments and then 4 competitive 15s matches, so I can give all my boys a good run. So for this upcoming season, we've got a few very good 7s tournaments that we're attending. And then obviously the MAC 7s is the big one that counts for our bid to go to nationals. So the winner of the MAC conference 7s will have an automatic bid to go to Colorado. So we're aiming for that. Anything up until that doesn't really, I won't say it doesn't matter to me, because at the end of the day the MAC 7s is the one that's going to project us onto the national stage.
Absolutely.
And then obviously we've got a few tournaments in 15s that we're going to be attending as well.
Tell us a little bit about the Pioneer Cup at Eastern Kentucky and what your hopes are for that specific tournament.
Well, it's the first time we've been invited to play there. We're really looking forward to that. I think it's about time that Rugby Kentucky gets highlighted, and I think with the Pioneer Cup, I think that's just the next step up to show people that there's good rugby to be played in the state of Kentucky, and then we're looking forward to the teams and having a good day of rugby with them. So.
Any truth to a rumor that possibly Louisville and Kentucky will be matching up?
Yes, the thing, I've been hearing that for years, and it's going to happen. Obviously, their programs have been doing pretty well. I mean, they've been around for a while. Like I said, we rebuilt our program a year and a half ago from 6 people. So everyone's looking forward to this matchup. Like I said, they're 45, 50 guys deep, but my boys has never backed down to a good challenge. And we have a saying in our team that you don't win and lose, you win and learn. So you'll walk away from any game if you felt like you've lost, then you've lost that game. But if you learn something from that, then you've won it, regardless of what the scoreboard said. But as of I think September 9th, we've got them scheduled for a pre-season friendly. Not really always a friendly, but it doesn't.
Not when it's Kentucky and Louisville.
It doesn't count for points, and that's going to be a pretty big matchup. So we're looking forward to that. It's going to be a very exciting game. My boys play a very exciting style of rugby, and I'm pretty sure the UK guys do the same. But and I think that will definitely put the college rugby in Kentucky on the map, that game itself. So
That
I'm looking
sounds
forward
great.
to that, yeah.
Well, it sounds like you've got the Louisville program going in the right direction and bringing a lot of excitement to the Commonwealth in general. So we thank you, Emil, for joining us today, and good luck with the season.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Kentucky took on Marshall with 3 wet games of 7s. In the first game, Kentucky was able to run 6 tries while keeping the Thundering Herd at bay. Game 2 also saw Marshall blanked as the Wildcats scored 5 times. The third game was called to a halt early, Kentucky holding a 2 tries to 1 lead. Despite the weather, a great day was had by all as Kentucky got to play their first rugby of the spring season. Kentucky will travel to Bowling Green next Saturday, March 3rd, to face Western Kentucky with a 1 p.m. kickoff.
Thanks for joining us this week on episode 2 of This is Rugby. Tune in next time to find out more about rugby here in the Bluegrass.